Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 11:18 on this Wednesday, October 26, 2011. You know, you can look up above and look at the title of the topic of this audio video, and you've probably seen it on the screen. Somebody asked a question. I don't know if it was, I think it was at the Sega forums, possibly, and I think maybe at the Sonic Stadium boards. But this person who asked the question the question they asked was Fiona Fox's heel turn, or face heel turn, whatever you want to call it, believable? Now, I know that some fans, including myself, kind of still feel that, it's just something that came out of the blue. But a lot of us probably knew as well that, it was something that was probably going to happen, especially in the issues leading up to it. Because you always had, in the issues leading up to it from like 171, I don't know exactly where it began. I think around 168 or 169 or something like that. I can't really recall. But around those times, you would have her just disappear, and Sonic's like, wondering where she's at. And obviously, by not having her show up or be part of the team, or be on missions and all that, you probably had a feeling something was up. Like, you didn't really know what was happening until 172 came around. Now, we also got some hints earlier on from the Scourge character, the evil Sonic Scourge character, in one of the previous issues, stating that he kind of found it funny and hilarious how Sonic was being tugged around and being made to think that his girl was all with him, was all about him, was all for him. Basically, kind of hinting at the fact, even though Sonic didn't see it, hinting at the fact that perhaps Fiona wasn't everything she seemed to be. Now, a lot of fans looked at that and they probably figured, there's something up if he's saying something like that. And then you have, a little bit of a hint, I guess you could say, in another issue, where Fiona, along with Tails and Sonic and all that, they're fighting off the Destructives, or not Destructives, the Destructives, and you have Drago. I think it's Drago kind of telling Fiona, hey, you should be the one that talks when it comes to being a traitor, when it comes to lying to people. So, to the trained eye, you may look at those things, and then you add in the fact that she had disappeared for a while going into issue 172, and you say to yourself, oh man, and you probably think to yourself, oh man, don't tell me she's about to do what we think she's about to do. Because, let's face the honest fact. I know a lot of people may not listen to this video, and everything, and they may feel it's a waste of time listening to this video. But let's face facts. Fiona's situation, Fiona as a character, became very popular. Yeah, it's true. It's when Ken Penders, whether you like Ken Penders or not, when he wrote her in as a freedom fighter, despite the fact that according to many fans, she had this past, she had this grudge against Sonic, and now all of a sudden that's all come and gone. And you gotta admit there was a bit of a logical explanation. I know some fans may disagree with that. There was a logical explanation. The fact that she said that when she saw Sonic sacrifice himself to save the planet, that there's no way that he could purposely have wanted to leave her behind, on purpose. So there was a bit of a logical explanation as to why she had that change of heart. And that during this time as a freedom fighter that Ken Penders put her in as, she actually gained a huge fan base. Fans actually started to get behind her in some ways. To the point that one of the questions somebody's asking in a topic now in some of the message boards is who could replace Sally, because Sally's situation right now or coming up. And there's no doubt that if that question would have been asked, years ago, around the time that Fiona was still a freedom fighter, there's no doubt that fans would come out and say that Fiona would have been the best choice. But unfortunately, when Ian Flynn took over, he changed all that. He changed all that to the point that all of a sudden, in the eyes of many, he made what was, in the eyes of some, in the eyes of many, an unbelievable decision. You see, some feel that Fiona's turn in 172 is believable and has some logic, and that's true. I'll even provide a link to that topic here in the description. But some also find it to be unbelievable. In other words, they felt that it just doesn't make sense. Here you have Fiona being built up the way she was as a freedom fighter, someone that's actually acknowledged, as I mentioned, under Ken Pender's writing, acknowledged the fact that even though Sonic left her behind, that by sacrificing himself for the planet, he couldn't have wanted to do that on purpose had he known she was still there. Now, again, though, the question people have is, was it believable? Was it, did it make sense that this person had? And some people said it was, and some people say it wasn't. The truth is, they feel that even if it was to happen, it could have been handled a lot better. I mean, yes, there were hints, with Scourge saying what he did in one issue, and then I think Drago saying what he said in another. I think it was Drago. Maybe it was Sleuth Doggy Dog. I don't know. And then having her not be with the group leading up to 172, it kind of makes you know that something was up. That perhaps, the inevitable was going to happen. But even when it did happen, there were many fans, including myself, that felt, man, it's not going to be a long-term deal. She's not going to be bad for that long. And believe it or not, it's been about 50. It's going on 50 issues since that happened, or actually, not actually 50. Actually, 60 issues. Actually 60 issues since that happened, and yet we have gotten no resolve. The one thing many fans look at, and they look at the same thing right now with the whole Sally deal, is that Ian Flynn wants to provide the series, I guess, in his own mind, with more villainous, more female villains, basically. And by having Fiona do what she did, that provides you with a sort of a rival / female villain. But what happened though, is that even though she had gained popularity as a freedom fighter, when this happened in 172, fans started to go against her. Those very fans that that were liking her as a freedom fighter got turned against her because of what Ian did. But now those very same fans again are actually starting to get behind her because they kind of like this side of her. They like this, do what we want, when we want, anti-authority attitude. They like it. It's kind of like the fans right now getting behind in the WWE and wrestling. It's like fans getting behind CM Punk. The fans are getting behind him big time now because he's an anti-authority guy. He does what he wants, says what he wants, and doesn't care what people have to say to him. It's the same thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Same thing. Now, but now the thing is, fans still, though, debate over the fact that Fiona, they still debate him, and this question is an obvious, answer to is an obvious part of that debate is whether or not it was a good idea. Well, whether or not it was a good idea, we can't really say because right now she's part of she's alongside Scourge. She's with the Destructives, if you will. So we can't really say. If for some reason Ian has something planned big for her, then we'll find out eventually. We just don't know when. We just don't know what he's got planned or how he's going to do it. But he's got something planned and big for her if, he's still continuously making her this way. Because he had her hint at something big was going to happen, but we just don't know what. The thing was though, when you take a look at Sonic Universe and you take a look at the Journey to the East saga, and in the issue that she was a part of, to some fans they actually liked. I can guarantee you this: there were actually some fans that liked the idea of seeing Fiona standing side by side with Sonic and Sally and Tails, ready to combat and ready to take care of business. It was kind of something they were glad to see. But the thing is that something that fans will see in the future? No one really knows. But getting back to the question is, was it a good idea? Was it believable when it happened? Did it make sense? Yes, the clues were there. From Scourge to Drago, Sleuth Doggy Dog, to her disappearances and the issues leading up to it. Were the hints there from the beginning? Did we feel something was up? Did Ian Flynn give us enough hints with what I mentioned to make us know that something was going to happen? I don't know. Me, I'm kind of, I can't really say whether it's believable or not because it's done with, it's come and gone, so we can't really do anything about it. If he does eventually turn her back to good, then that's a decision he's got. Then that's a decision he's going to make. If not, then again he's done it for the fact that he wants to continuously continuously have more female villains in the comic besides just Linda and the Iron Queen. So we'll just have to see what happens, and that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below. I'll put the link in the description box. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.